Thank you.
Yes, Senator, that is the message we provided.
Okay. Thanks, Senator Edwards. You are finished?
Notice, thanks.
You are? Okay, now I would say, Senator Ludlam, please, there is 5 minutes each.
Great, thanks, Chair. Great Eastern Highway, which the Commonwealth has made a contribution to widening of Great Eastern Highway in Perth. I put some questions to you last time, which this is a $686 million Commonwealth allocation. And you told us that around traffic projections, that you told us that the volume of traffic forecast to 2031, the upgraded highway will be operating at its full capacity. In other words, we'll have the same congestion we've got today, it'll just be wider. Can you just tell us, and I'll race through these pretty quick and probably get you to take some of this on notice. Can you expect us how many vehicles are expected to use Great Eastern Highway by 2031, or provide the traffic modelling on notice?
Senator, before you go on, we just need to correct the record of what how you've summarised that answer. Would you?
Well, part of it was summarising and part of it was editorial.
It was a bit of editorial, but the officer would like to correct the record.
Go ahead.
Roland Pitter, General Manager of the North West Roads Branch. Senator Ludlam, I believe our answer to your question on notice, question 129 from last time, said with the volume of traffic forecast for 2031, the upgraded highway will be operating below its full capacity. I
have at its full capacity. There's an interesting typo. I'll chase that, but thanks for that correction, if that's the case. Could you provide us with the traffic modelling on notice and give us an idea of how many vehicles are expected to be using that highway by 2031?
We can certainly take that on notice, Senator.
You can do? Great, thank you. And look, was any demand management, whether that be better public transport, better cycling infrastructure or behaviour change, used at all for that modelling, either by the state or by you guys?
Sorry, I'll take that on notice. We'd expect so.
All right.
If you want, we normally require in our project proposals the evaluation of alternative options to be considered. So I'm happy to take that on notice, Senator, and come back to you with detail.
All right. Look, it's made an awful mess, but I recognise that these things do make a bit of a mess. Was there any consideration given either in this project or others to embedding NBN infrastructure as you go? If you're going to tear up a freeway, and I'm interested in this in a more general sense than just Great Eastern Highway. If you're going to tear up a bit of road, do you, or you know, it's a project that's being funded by the Commonwealth, do you contact NBN Co and let them know that there are major works underway?
Normally the project scheduling and the works proposals are with the states and territories, but I know NBN Co does work pretty closely with most state jurisdictions. So obviously, if there is an opportunity to effectively joint trench, they'll do it. I'm not familiar with the circumstances in this case, but I can ask that question, Senator.
Senator, I think in this case utilities were moved, so substantial work had to be done to move utilities, and the state government would have contacted all those utility owners and potential utility owners around that. So that's usually managed by the state and territory government that's delivering the project. Okay, so in the instance of this, you're reasonably confident NBN Co would have been contacted and advised. I'm saying that utilities were definitely moved, and the state government would have contacted relevant utility holders. We use the word potential utility, and that's quite an important caveat. That is what they do, yes. But I don't know in this particular case whether NBN Co was contacted, but we could take that on notice. Yeah, okay, that's great, much appreciated. On the Perth Light Rail project, so we heard some welcome news from Mr Deegan a short while ago that the WA government has actually submitted a project of some form to Infrastructure Australia. Do you have any visibility of that, or are you just engaged at the moment on the feasibility study?
We're certainly aware of the project proposal. Some states have sent us copies of their project proposals. Great. I think we're still in the early stages of looking at that.
Are you able to table that proposal for the committee?
We'd have to check that the West Australian government was comfortable in making those proposals public, but we can certainly take it on notice and check.
The government hasn't released any of the applications or submissions that have come in from jurisdictions, but we do know some jurisdictions have made public their proposals, but my understanding, this one hasn't been made public.
Yeah, okay, that's my understanding as well. I'm also somewhat concerned, and maybe this goes more to the feasibility work than the project proposal, that the WA government's light rail network, as far as we've seen indicative costs, run to about $50 million per kilometre. Now that's significantly more than our peer-reviewed study and analysis of local and international studies of the per kilometre cost of light rail, including electrical equipment and maintenance facilities and so on. Do you do any studies, or do you try and validate that when those sort of costs come through the door? as to why it would be so expensive?
Senator, we do work around the costings of each project, so moving towards potential funding. We haven't done any cost analysis of this project yet.
Okay, would you be expected to do so at some point?
I would expect to do so, yes.
Would you expect that to be undertaken? I mean, we've already funded $4 million worth of Commonwealth money towards this project. Will that analysis or peer review of the estimated project costs be part of that work?
Not part of the study. The study that we're putting money into is the study that's managed by the West Australian Government.
Yeah.
So they're doing all of the scoping and alignment activity and planning work for the project. When they make a submission to the Commonwealth, we would then do analysis of those costings that are provided.
We heard from Mr Deegan a few moments ago that actually a submission has been made.
That's right.
So we're in the present tense now.
Yes.
So you will be undertaking that.
We will be, yes.
Great. Are you able to tell us whether the project proposal that's come forward from the Barnett government departs in any significant way from the feasibility work that was being done?
I understand, Senator, that the WA government announced the broad scope of the project about 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That had a number of phases. Originally there was a draft transport plan that had light rail alignments in it,
Yeah.
and this updates that draft plan. So there are a couple of phases, 2 phases that are proposed by the WA government. We'd expect further work to come out of the study that's underway at the moment.
Got an estimated start date and an estimated completion date for phase 1 of the project?
I will have to make that the last one, so let them move on.